Nay.
Okay, you're all set, Bob.
Okay, we're good?
Guess no beef.
No beep, okay. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the April 27th Town of Chestertown Board Meeting. Linda, would you call the order, please?
Supervisor Valentine,
Here.
Councilman Artisana,
Here.
Councilman Courtney,
Here.
Councilman Holdred,
Here.
Councilwoman Smith. Here.
Okay, would everybody please rise for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to do our public comment session right now. We have a list. Thanks, Larry.
Not that first.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Louis, you're first on the list, but I'm going to make you wait until I get all the comments, and I'm going to have you do a presentation. Okay. So the next one, first one we'll call is Tracy Shu. Please.
Is everything up and rolling? We're good?
We good over
We're
there?
good. We're rolling. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I apologize. Let me just say, I apologize. We had technical difficulties with the WebEx link today, so we're only on Facebook and YouTube, I believe. Right? So just so everybody knows.
That's good. Good evening, everybody. The first thing I wanted to comment on was a follow-up to the last meeting. I spoke about the Moodna Creek Watershed Intermunicipal Council and their quarterly meeting that was going to be held tomorrow. And I'm not sure if you assigned somebody, a public official that was going to attend since you're members, but they postponed it because there's this new open meetings law, and I'm probably not paraphrasing it correctly, but something about if you're going to have a Zoom meeting, you have to have a quorum in a physical location so that the public can attend in person, as well as also, or do it via Zoom. So the council had to now find some place to hold the meeting, in which they're now going to have to reschedule. So stay tuned on that and their agenda. And then speaking of the open meetings law, I did on a question about minutes and how that's done prescribed by law. I think it's stated they have to be done like 2 minutes or 2 weeks after a meeting, or at least a draft available. And I know that the planning board had a part-time secretary, but now they're getting like 4 months behind in the minutes. So I thought you made her full-time, but I'm not sure if that actually took place yet. So I just, if I thought there was also a law that said if you had held Zoom meetings, that you could make those available. They could be a substitute for for minutes. But I know I brought that up to ask about those recordings, and I was told that they weren't going to be released. But I just wanted to make you aware of that option. And then maybe there'll be minutes adopted by the next meeting. Maybe they're catching up now, but I just wanted to point that out, that they're behind on that. And speaking of planning board meetings, I know you were going to, I think, start mentioning those agendas, especially if they have a public hearing coming up. I saw that next week's agenda meeting was canceled. So anybody who's interested in following projects, that's not happening. But I guess the next one's going to be held in June. They used to hold 2 meetings a month. I don't know why that had stopped for years. And then they started that back up again, having like a work session, and they were talking about new laws and updates and procedure changes, but then that stopped. I believe, and I'm not going to put words in the mouth of what was said at the meeting, but I could have sworn they said they wanted to stop, and maybe hopefully you guys have a comprehensive plan committee that would go over those kinds of things. So that was something that was talked about at one of those workshop meetings. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the agenda tonight. You have the short-term rental draft law that you talked about that had a public hearing at the last meeting. I know I had mentioned I wanted to send you comments in writing, and then you closed the hearing, but you said anybody could still send in comments, so I did. But unfortunately, it took me a lot longer than I thought it would be. So I had sent those in this morning. I apologize. It just took me a lot longer to read through other codes out there to see if there was something that you would be missing, or that they might have that would be better in our code as well. But surprisingly, there wasn't as many in Orange County as I thought there was going to be that are regulated. So I then found that training webinar I sent to everybody. I'm not sure if you had a chance to watch it, but I know that group, what is it, the local government program, that you can call them and get feedback if you want. They can give you, they can't write the law for you, but they can certainly send you in the right direction and tell you about pitfalls to avoid if you wanted to consult with them, as you don't have, a comprehensive plan committee or a planner at this time. So I know there's urgency to adopt the law because I understand that there's inquiries and people want to do the rentals, or they're doing them when they're not regulated. So that, could be causing problems. But I just want to hope you got a chance to read over the information I sent you, including the Town of Monroe's code. They had some great things in there I thought you guys could include, just to my mind, to be proactive for some long-term concerns. Of course, I mean, if those things never happen, that would be great. But I think it's better to plan for it before you adopt the code. So at the very least, there was a couple typos. I thought there was a definition that you definitely needed about mixed use, and a few other little things that maybe from a legal standpoint would be important to include. So I didn't know if you're ready to adopt it, but if at the very least that the town attorney could look at my comments to see if there was something of value there. And I believe that's everything. So thank you.
Hey, thank you, Tracy. Okay, next on the list, Larry Dysinger.
Good evening.
Good evening, Larry.
I do want to thank you. I think I may have done before, but I want to make sure I do thank the board for looking at the suggestions I made for the noise ordinance. But I would like to just make one more set of pitch for it. I think it's warranted to make a change to it. Now, I understand that, you're feeling that the law is new. It's only 14 or 15 months old. I understand that, and your hesitancy about changing it. But, it's if the law has, I say, deficiencies, I think there's merit and justification for going in and making changes. And I'll give it an analogy. To not make changes now, because it's a new law, is pretty much the same as a car manufacturer coming out with a new car and you find deficiencies. The car manufacturer is going to make the changes. They're not going to let the vehicle continue on with deficiencies. I think there are deficiencies in the law that warrant changes. I also have the concern about they have one level in there, 85 dBA as the threshold. And I think I've pointed out before, 85 decibels is the point where you start causing damage to ear. I'm just not sure where that 85 dBA came up with for the law that's there. I'd be curious as to how that number was derived. But I'll also point out that, the town has zoning laws. They have different zones within the town. You have commercial, you have industrial, you have AR, you have suburban residential, that sort of thing, for many different reasons, to control the development and a lot of other reasons. Well, the same thing should hold true for the noise ordinance. That's, to me, part of it. There's, the noise levels that may be fine for industrial are certainly not fine for residential. And it even varies based on, let's say, an SR1 versus an AR 3.3. I think you do need to have different levels set for each zone type. And also, what's good for the daytime is also different for nighttime. You don't want something loud, in the evenings or at nights, so I think there's justification for, enhancing the law to include, more clarification. Another thing that I put in that suggestion was Jacob brakes, which are used by big trucks. Truckers use that to slow a vehicle down instead of using your wheel brakes. Now, Bob, you know what Jake brakes is, and they can be pretty loud. I hear them all the time at my house from the industrial park. I know there are towns I've seen signs that say no Jake brake allowed. One thing I'm pushing in the planning board is that, these signs go up saying you can't use a Jake brake, especially if it's right next to a, residential area. So, I'd like to see that the noise ordinance, has in there that, trucks can't use Jake brakes within the town, to keep the noise down. So, that's another thing that is in my suggestions, for the changes. So, I'd just like to have, the town board, consider these things I just brought up, and you make a decision you are. I just thank you for listening to, to my comments. One other thing is, the town has implemented an outdoor lighting ordinance a year ago. One of the things that seems to be unclear is what is the definition of light trespass? Now, light trespass is when light emitted by a luminaire shines beyond the boundaries of a property on which the luminaire is located. That's not only the light itself, the illumination, but also the light fixture itself. It means you shouldn't be seeing the light fixture or the light bulbs, you want to put it that way. I mean, that's all part of light trespass. If you look at all the lights that are being put up around, especially, commercial and industrial, they've replaced all the lights that were there that pretty much face downwards are now installed, and they're facing, typically on a 45-degree angle out, and it goes out beyond the property line. These lights that they're installing, they are a broadcast or a flood type of light. Okay. And these lights do not have cutoffs on them. So, it's a wide spread of light. So it extends beyond the property line. You can also see the light, beyond the property. So, that's a problem. These fixtures should have, shielding and cutoff. So you can't see it beyond the property line, and that's also in the outdoor lighting ordinances that you should have that. A concern that I have is I respect Alexa. She's very knowledgeable in the building code, very nice person. I do respect her. But in a number of planning board meetings, when I've raised the issue of lighting that was installed, which was not per plan, and I point out that you can see the light. You can see the light fixture. Her view is that's okay. That's not light trespass. I disagree with her. I think, if you go by what most outdoor lighting laws are in New York State and any other state, if you can see the light fixture, the bulb and stuff, that's all part of light trespass. So what I'd like to ask the town board is if they could put together maybe a committee that can review what does light trespass mean, and come to a conclusion, and then have whatever that's decided to be enforced. So if you could do that, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, next on the list is Glenn Ellers, our county representative. Nice to see you out this evening. Mr. Ellers.
Supervisor, great to be here. How are you, Al? First thing, I'd like to thank Bob for his press conference the other day. What a great press conference for the Fall Festival. I think it was well attended, and I think the Fall Festival is going to be extremely well attended. It'll be great for Chester. So I've got a couple of things here. Let's see. I've had a couple calls recently around the county about the credit card surcharges. I don't know if anybody's noticed lately as you go into, it seems like every store, they're adding a 3.5% fee at the point of sale. Just so everyone knows, according to New York, credit card surcharges are prohibited in New York State. There's ways around them, but I would encourage everyone to go to New York Gov, Division of Consumer Protection, and the first article talks all about it and how they can do it and how they can't do it. I've noticed myself, hardware stores, restaurants, everybody's doing it. And it really is the way they're doing it illegal in New York. And there's a way to file a complaint. just looking out for the people of the county. The other thing I have here is in reference to Ms. Jacobitz on 869 LaRue Road. There have been some fill problems. I've spoken extensively to Mike Carroll, who is the Orange County Senior Engineer. And at this point, since it's been over a year, I think you're going to hear some more from Ms. Carroll and from some other neighbors tonight. But Mike Carroll's recommendation at this point is for the Town of Chester Building Department to move forward with a court proceeding against the homeowner, because the county doesn't have a court system they can go to. So Mike Carroll, and as the county engineer, can only issue a violation. And that's what he's done. And I know the Town of Chester has a stack of them. They've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But on Mike Carroll's recommendation, it's time to move forward. That's up to the town, of course, and the building department, but that's his recommendation. Move forward, get it to the court system, and see if he doesn't clean it up and do the proper thing, then the town can go in, clean it up, and add it to his tax bill. And that's all I have tonight. Any questions for me from anybody?
No, I know we spoke about
We did talk about it,
the
yep.
Blue Road, and I did speak to the building inspector at length on it, and he is definitely attending to it in that fashion.
Yeah. So
I
that's-
understand.
Okay, so that's Mike's recommendation.
That's moving forward in the direction.
Yep, go
It should be
forward.
moving forward, yes.
All right, I appreciate it. And,
Yes.
I know Mr. Jacobitz is here, and thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Glenn. Okay, Connie and Lou Jacobus, 869 LaRue Road.
Hi.
I was going to just say this, in an interest in saving time, because this is something that has been going on for well over a year. And we've sent letters to try to resolve this amicably with our neighbor. But this is something that is probably 8 years in the making, because this was something that when LaRue Road was originally
Surfaced.
yes,
Yeah, I remember.
this is when this started, and I did speak out to Mike Carroll on this. When I spoke with him recently, he did remember having our conversations. He wasn't able to, he told me he wasn't able to fix it that year, that it was going to have to take the following year. They did come out. It did not resolve the issue, and as the years progressed, because I'm up higher than the neighbors that we're having the issues with, the water went down off into his property, and the previous owners were elderly, and the cattails kept growing and growing in their yard. So this is something that came to head because of what our neighbor has done. Mr. Allers is aware of it. Mr. Carroll's aware of it. Alexa, the building inspector, is aware of it. We spoke to everyone we could possibly speak to try to get this resolved, because this is also part of a civil suit as well, because he's taken down trees on our property. We've had to have it surveyed because he did not, had it surveyed twice and didn't put in stakes. He pulled the stakes out, 3-foot rebarbs out of the ground that was on our property, which I hear is a criminal offense to do something like that. So there's been issues that we've been having, and I'm going to let Lou read what kind of the nutshell of what's happening.
I had a whole bunch of things written down, but Connie took care of a lot of it. Basically, when the road was raised and reconfigured in front of our house, I used to take my son out to the school bus. He'd step onto the school bus. It's now been raised over 3 feet and also raised down the hill. These property 867 is downhill from us. Mr. Moreno, the owner, has raised his front yard up to the level of the road. So that's up 2 or 3 feet. The swale is not taking care of the water. When the county did that, I don't know what the topographical map is. I don't know if the culvert under the next to driveway they used and ours was also raised to slow the waterfall down. But it used to be a lawn out to the road. Now it's 2-foot dam. Mr. Moreno has an engineer drawing he's submitting to the county from Rankin Tully. Well, it's more of a plot plan of his landscape. It's not really addressing the problem. The water on our property was never there. They're talking about filling the depression. They created the depression when they raised their yard. And also, everything kind of started when that road was reconfigured. The water just kind of backed up. The groundwater has raised so much, my backyard is flooding. 100 feet back from the road. I can't mow my lawn anymore. And it's, where the fill is in the town of Chester. That's why Mr. Ellis is talking about the building department taking care of that. But there's also fill on the county land. And I don't think, Mr. Carroll, I don't know, it's in two entities, it's,
For over a year, we've been going back and forth where the town is saying, because it is a county easement on our property, 25 feet, that is a county issue. And the county's saying there's only a certain amount that they can do because it's a town issue. Well, the fact of the matter is he brought in how many, 200?
I have no money.
I mean,
Yeah,
yards. And they recognized it because Mr. Carroll sent me an email showing that the pictures that we have tons of pictures, but he also took pictures, and so did Alexa, of where it went from 2 inches all the way up to 2.5 feet. And that 2.5 feet is on our property. They encroached on our property, taking down trees, but also about 18 feet onto our property of the contaminated fill that they brought in.
that's another issue. Nobody has given me a definitive answer as to what the fill can be used, what kind of fill can be used. It's construction debris. It's mortar, concrete blocks, bricks, pipes, and wire. And that's been dumped on my property. I don't know what other contaminants are in it, and I don't know if that's a legal fill.
The only thing I can say to you is that Alexa is going to enforce whatever the town of Chester Town Code,
Okay,
provides for. So, and I know that she's diligently working on it right now.
okay.
I can't speak for the county or anything that goes on at the county with the county road right away or anything like that. But as far as the town of Chester goes, in my conversation with her, she's going to,
Okay.
proceed forward with whatever she has to do to enforce the code.
Can someone come out and see and do a site survey on the property to actually take a look to see what it looks like? Because one of the issues is we don't have Alexa was kind enough to give me the original from 1974, the 3-division plot plan, because that is, there was very specific survey done and how they could actually put the septics in there, because it does have a stream running through there. And it was an issue that was addressed with the DEC. So there's more than just a little bit going on here on that. But we were just wondering if somebody could actually come out and take, my concern is that Lankin Tully wanted us to sign off on this, which we're not going to sign off on it because they're bringing this more, all they're going to do is fix the neighbor's property, not fix ours. We have the survey on it, but we don't know how, we've been here a year. He has done nothing. He has done nothing to address, to say, even when you do something like that, and you encroach on someone's property, at least come over and say, oops, we haven't heard anything from him. And my concern is, what kind of recourse do we have to get him to move, to do something?
I mean, really civil matter, isn't it, Scott? Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, the problem that you have with your neighbor about property lines and that would be a civil
I'm
matter.
not talking about the property lines, I'm talking about the fill that he brought in there,
As I
that there's
said, that's,
laws.
They're putting fill on your property is a civil matter. I mean,
But aren't there certain laws that he cannot put a certain amount of
Laws that we
fill?
have on the books about fill, we will enforce. I mean, the building inspector is moving forward with that, but there's not much we can really do as far as like a dispute between the two adjoining property owners as far as, trespassing and putting something on your property or, vice versa. So it's really something you'll have to take them. to
Well, as
court.
far as the county road and then the fill on the county portion of it and creating you're saying it's a civil issue, but by him encroaching with the toxic fill or the contaminated fill on the county property, that is what's caused all this backup, in addition to the county not.
So I can't speak for the county. The county would have to address that issue independently. I mean, we can only address what's in the town code.
I know, and I
That's the only thing the
understand
town
that,
can
and
do.
this is where we are, because this is what happens. The county says it's the town, and the town says it's the county, and we're the tennis ball in the match.
Yeah, like I said, the town is going to address it. as per the code, and the building inspector's on top of it.
Is there any time frame for
So the
this?
building inspector is the enforcer in the town. So if there's a violation in the code, she's the one who writes, she's the code enforcement officer. No, it's not the board's decision to do anything like that. We're not trained for that, so.
Well, so the county is not going to come out to be able to say, okay, they came out that far on the county, and if we could clear that issue up with that he created on the county property. I understand this is the town, but and him saying that the town needs to be involved in this also to force him to be able to do that, because if they could put it back the way it was, and we won't have a problem with our property.
I mean, I would assume that's what the county has violated them on, saying, remove the fill, right? So, I mean, I work with the county a lot of times in my business, and if they don't like what you did, they tell you to fix it, so.
And is there something that they a time frame that is done, or is it this just?
Has to go through the process, yeah. Everything has a time constraint on it. I'm sure the violations have a time frame on them, and ours certainly will, and
I mean, this has been
a
a year in the time frame. I think we've been patient in being able to see something
I
happening
had the building
of
inspector
this.
provide me with copies of the violations and stuff, so when Glenn had called me about it, so, just to make sure that things move forward. And then when I spoke to her, she said, we're moving forward with everything possible.
So can you give me direction on how I speak to the county as far as getting them to put it back the way it was?
I wish I could tell you what to do with the county, but.
I'm not
Yeah.
getting any answers from anyone.
Glenn is the rep for the county. You
Okay.
can throw that in your lap, Glenn, but
The problem with the county is the county doesn't have a way to a court system like the town of Chesterfield. The small municipals have their own court. The county doesn't have a court system to go to an issue like this.
Okay, but if the county can't issue
So
it,
the town has order remedies, and when the time is up, Alexa will move it to
the court,
the court.
yeah.
this sounds long.
I don't think it's gonna be that long.
No, I don't think so either.
What we're asking, that's why I was saying, is there somebody that can come out and take a look to just look at our property and say, okay, take it and put it back the way it was? And
We can't, we don't have the authority to do
What
that.
about a town engineer?
Yeah.
is there a town engineer?
The town engineer, Al's right here. Have you spoken to Alexa about this?
No.
Whole thing? No, she's handled it in-house so far, but,
But
I mean,
the
she's doing
pleasure
it
of the
the right
board,
way, right?
pleasure of the board,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
So I would say we have to let the process run through,
Okay.
so, yeah.
And how do I feel comfortable that after a year that maybe we'll see something? Am I gonna get any kind of notification?
Alexa, I don't know how long ago those violations were written, but, I don't think they were that long ago that the violations were actually written,
Well,
so.
this has been going on with Alexa for probably almost a year, close to a year now. And so if the violations haven't been written, then the due process hasn't been moving very quickly either. Not that I expect everybody to jump through hoops for me, but it's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, I would suggest that you,
I've actually called Alexa and
Go with it.
and there's times when she hasn't called me back. So I would, appreciate if she can just, when she has updates, if she can just let us know that we know that we're being heard, because at this point now, we just don't feel we're being heard.
all right, I wish I could do more for you. But, it's-
It's nice because
Yeah.
when you follow the rules, you seem to be punished. And when you don't follow the rules, you can get away with it. And it's a little upsetting, but I get it. You're going to hear from our other hat on the
Okay.
other side.
All right. Okay, next. Michael and Diane Hughes, okay. Mhm. Jacobus, Connie and Lou Jacobus.
Good evening.
Okay.
We live next to the property that we're talking about. We're 2 houses away from the Jacobus.
They're the lucky ones
And-
on the other side.
Yeah, we're on the other side. We've lived at 865 Blue Road for 45 years, and we've never had so many problems, particularly with the water. the water, the stream runs from their property onto our property, 100 foot down the driveway. We have a 200-foot driveway. So the water goes under our driveway and goes further out across Lua Road and so on. But the problem here was with all their construction and the way they changed everything. Every time we have rain, the construction scraps, trees, they cut down, everything just gets thrown in the creek. So it blocked all the things covered the culvert pipe, and the water runs over our driveway and down the driveway. So there were several instances we couldn't get out because it was all washed away. And also the water that comes from their property run down their driveway and across in front of my mailbox and into your, whatever you call
The
that,
culvert in the front.
in the front.
The ditch.
That belonged to the county. So that had corroded and had made our entrance and exit out of our driveway much more narrow. We have to be very careful because if anybody pulls in, they can go into the stream there. So
Just read it.
actually,
You can read that. You could read that.
okay, so I had sent a letter that they have changed the topography of the entire property. Many truckloads of soil have been delivered and dumped onto his front and especially the back of the house. This drastic change has caused many drainage problems affecting our driveway. What they did was they added so much soil that is much higher because they have built a new wall protecting their house from any water, which means they're going to go into our culvert, stream, into the culvert pipe. So of course, whenever we get rain, my wife and I will always worry, we're going to be able to get out the next day. And that becomes a serious problem for us. And also our driveway, the one going from the middle to the road, had dropped 9 to 12 inches from the ground. It's like this. Our driveway is much lower now. Each time it happens, it drops. So that has caused severe corrosion and damage to our driveway. We had to have it repaired twice. So there were a lot of issues, but that's a major
Just
one.
basically, same thing he said. The only problem is because he keeps bringing truckloads, big dump trucks full. It to the point where this fill is so bad that during the summer, they had another big truck come in and the truck sank because it was so bad. It took them 3
The mud.
dump trucks to get this truck out because all this, as Lou said, there's all construction, there's all everything. They did the same thing with the back, raised it higher. Like he said, they now put a retaining wall up in the back. It originally had a deck and about 3 steps to go up into the house. They have raised that whole backyard up so that now they have this lovely stone patio coming right out of the house. So obviously,
It's much higher.
this didn't magically appear. And they're still dumping. And the only reason they stopped pushing more of the dirt around is the backhoe that they have, the wheel fell off. So they left that whole thing in the backyard. So now this retention wall that's about at least over 4 cinder blocks high, that was level ground at one point. So that's just how much they put in the back. And they're not finished. And as we said,
I know that the building
over a
department
year.
also
Been going on over
put
a
a
year.
stop work order on the
oh,
project.
it's been, but that hasn't stopped them.
No,
They just pull up and do what they want the whole year. Unfortunately, and that's the problem. Like you said, after 45 years, we never have a problem. All the neighbors have always been fine. And this, it's blatant. It's blatant.
it really did.
So we were just wondering how.
I feel for
long-
all you guys, it's definitely a lack of respect for the neighbor's property, so, and,
It's
you know,
gonna take care of it.
yeah.
We just,
we'll take care of it. The middle divider between his driveway and my driveway had all for 30 years trees. And because of all the trucks and everything, they just crushed the tree and the tree on our driveway. Just to back up the truck, they don't care. And so I have to cut the branches because it scratches the cars. Think little things like that, and they all add up.
We realize your hands are stuck to an extent. We just were wondering what the time frame is. We know they have to stop order on everything. And we were told they're being fined every day. But it's still the same. And it is over a year,
Okay,
you know? So we were just wondering, is anything gonna be done?
okay, we'll bring it back to the attention of the building inspector
Thank
and
you.
say,
That would
please,
be
you know,
great.
move forward with it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so, do we have anybody at home that wants to make any comments?
Excuse me, I do. Lydia Quadros. Why didn't the town board have a formal vote at the last meeting on the proposed zoning change for Sugarloaf Square 56-unit condo townhouse project?
There's no vote required. so-
Why was the project tabled and not denied if all board members were against the 3-story buildings and multi-unit houses?
Okay, thanks for the comment.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, so comments, we don't have comments. We have, I have a couple of presentations I'd like to do before we move on to regular business. Kind of came up at the last minute. So first one would be Louis Abramson from the CHJI Support Group. And maybe, Louis, you could explain a little bit of what you do and how you want to bring some awareness to the community.
So, first, I want to thank you all.
Louis was here last year, too.
Yeah, we all met last year. I'm the founder of CHAI Support Services. So it's abbreviation. It's Cultivating Healing and Justice Initiative Support Services. And this came about because I was battling prostate cancer. Normally, everybody thinks that this is a old man's cancer. It's not anymore. Just like any cancer, it's the second most often cancer that men get. And there is a dire state of affairs throughout the country. And we need to come as a community and bring more awareness. And so I'm very happy to be here today and to also thank the town supervisor, Mr. Robert Valentine, and the team, and the community. They all came together for our resolution that we did with a very nice car show to bring everybody together. We had medical doctors at the disposal, and they had a lot of interesting information to give, and I saw a lot of families take advantage of that. So it's always nice to bring something like that to the community, because I think that nobody should be left to battle cancer alone. So I want to say, starting, good evening and thank you for having me here tonight. The purpose of my visit here today is to request an opportunity to use your senior center. The center is a community focal point where our elderly gather for activities and services which enhance their dignity and support and their independence and encourage involvement in and with the community. Our mission in CHGI Support Services is to promote health, education, and to raise awareness on prostate cancer in the community. And we are looking to provide a presentation in the areas of health, and not only on prostate cancer, but other different health topics, as well as to our community members here. We would like to bring a level of refreshments in the meetings and provide the opportunity to the community members to ask questions and to the health providers that attend. And so we thank you, the town, and also the supervisor and councils members, as well as one of your former councilors, Mr. Orlando Perez, who has been pivotal in our championship of this cancer for the mission that we do. And we hope that we can bring a granted with the usage of you can grant us the usage of your center for that purpose. CGI will not charge any fees to anyone attending these presentations, and it is a free activity open to anyone. We can later discuss days and time for presentations, and we already have some individuals interested in participating as speakers. Also, we are having a walk that's coming up on this May 14th at the Veteran Memorial Park in Otisville from 9 to 2 p.m. And we all hope that you guys receive the invitation and email in regards, and that the community can come out to the event. It's going to be a very nice event. We'll have things for kids like the Hudson Valley Ghostbusters and the Dutch Renegades with their mascot Rascal, and we'll have a Asian ballet group, and it will be something for all of us to come together as a community and support one another, and also those that are not here today that we have not forgotten. So. And then second, we have a cruise proposed again at the PAC, Sugarloaf Theater right here in Chester, on July 24th. And I want to say thank you, all of you, for this time that you allowed me to express this interest in your community here. And also for the support and collaboration that you've all shown to us. And I look to providing a extra, what I call an extra palette to your community. You know, something that members of the community can take advantage of. And definitely it will be well suited once a month. So thank you again, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Louis.
Okay, so the next presentation we're going to have is from Chris he's going to be giving us a little presentation on the Savage Wonder Festival of Veterans in the Arts. It's going to be held at it's going to be held in Sugarloaf, all of Sugarloaf, it looks
All
like.
of Sugarloaf, that's right.
Chris?
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks for allowing me to come in.
You're
Sorry, I'm on babysitting duty, so I'm wearing
All
my
right.
babysitting clothes today. Hey, really appreciate the chance to come here. We've been trying to fold as many people, as many stakeholders as possible into this event and make sure everyone's aware of what's going on, because if this has the impact that we'd like it to have, we're hoping that a rising tide is going to lift all boats here and everyone's going to have a win-win situation all the way around. So I want to make sure to kind of lay out what we're planning to do and how I hope this has good, positive second and third order effects for everybody involved in the area. A little bit about me. I got out of the military 13 months ago. I started my own nonprofit for veterans in the arts. Won't get really into that too much. You guys will probably hear about it through other avenues at some point. But long story short, we had an opportunity to bring a lot of different veterans that are in different artistic media together from across the country. It's not a veterans talent show. These are veterans that are actually signed to record labels, have won awards, have published books. So they are established in their artistic fields, but they are all veterans. About 80% of them are combat veterans, many of them from the GWOT, from the Global War on Terror. And what we think is the unique opportunity here, the reason why we wanted to bring them from as far away as Washington State, California, where have you, all the way here, is I'm here, I'm in the Hudson Valley, so I'm very biased, but we have a couple of things in our favor. We have a huge veteran community, and we have a huge world-class artistic community. So to combine both of those here in the Hudson Valley means a lot to me. And there was no place that seemed to resonate more to capture that than the PAC, than going to Sugarloaf. It's a great artistic village, obviously, I don't need to tell you that. But with the views, we thought it captures the heart of the Hudson Valley. And it was very important to us that we establish something that was gonna have real local flavor. We wanna make this a mecca for veterans in the arts. This is the shorthand we've kind of used internally, but we're trying to make this a Lollapalooza for veterans in the arts. That you're not anything until you come and you play the Hudson Valley. That's the brand that we are trying to establish. I gave up my military career for it. We're not gonna fail. This is gonna be it for the next 40 years. We're setting our expectations as modestly as we can for year one. So what we're intending to do is we will have 3 stages going, 1 outdoor stage, the indoor main stage at Sugarloaf, and the pavilion. Between those 3, we will have everything, we'll have all kinds of bands. We have a classical singer trained by Placido Domingo personally. We have country bands, we have a punk band, metal band. We also have visual artists, award-winning visual artists who will be featured in the art gallery we've established in there. We'll have film screenings from a Green Beret buddy of mine who was doing a play that got cut short by COVID. He got funding to film it, and that film will be released on Amazon Prime after the festival. So that screening will be happening there. We'll have poetry readings, spoken word events. We'll also have a dance company performing. Dance company, of course, was founded by a former Marine machine gunner, go figure. So it's that kind of event. It's a crazy event. It's stuff, things that you may have seen, but you've never seen it like this. And it's gonna be a real 3-ring circus. We've had a lot of good fortune and good friends help us get to this point. And I wanna list a couple of them just so you understand the scope of who we're dealing with and how this is all played out. First off, the village of Sugarloaf itself. I've been working with the chamber over there. They've been incredibly helpful. Gary Hunsberger has been a real ally and partner, and I hope is one of the major beneficiaries of this event. They have moved their spring festival and paired it with us. So we're not sharing branding. There will still be the Sugarloaf Spring Festival, but it happens to be occurring at the same time as ours. So we're combining resources, combining all of our lines of effort, parking, fire, EMS, all that stuff. So I think it's going to open up a lot of possibilities. The village will be shut down to vehicular traffic that day. We'll have walking routes. It'll be a really fun day. That's also had the second order effect of swelling our numbers a little bit more. We were aiming for a very conservative number this year. We were thinking maybe 3,000 would be a good attainable number. But now that the village is in line with us, we might be looking at more. We've also gotten sponsored by iHeartRadio. That is, those ads will start next week, and that's a pretty big sponsor. WPDH has also come on as a sponsor. They will also be running ads that I think started today. So that again is going to be a pretty big initiative. That's going to get the word out. We're also sponsored by Chronogram. We'll be running a lot of stuff also this month. So a lot of good media outlets that we've been blessed to be partnered with them. And I think that gives us some pretty rosy projections for what we can expect. Right now, I'm just trying to set left and right limits of somewhere between 5 to 10,000. The obvious question is, what are you going to do about parking? We have laid out parking, and I want to thank the chief for kind of giving me some insight into some of the parking issues we could run into. We've created some pretty good workarounds with some local businesses like Ocean Vineyards, where we're now able to park cars out there and shuttle them to the festival. So we hopefully take pressure off the village itself, and we allow some workarounds. Hey, you need to stop, stay there. Okay. So hopefully that takes some pressure off of the traffic flow, and we're able to maintain traffic outside the far reaches of the village. and allow the shuttles and some walking paths that we've developed to facilitate that influx of people. Obviously, we have an 11-hour long festival, so people will be coming and going throughout the day. So we don't know what the thick part of that bell curve is going to look like. We don't know how many people are going to be there at once. But as of right now, we have weather dependent between 2,076 and I believe it's 2,200 parking spaces available. So the math that we've done, just for everyone's situational awareness, is we've averaged, with the Chamber of Commerce's input, 2.5 people per car is our estimation. And we are messaging that, and we're encouraging people to carpool. So hopefully that takes some pressure off of that. We'll see how it plays out. It's year one. We're just putting all of our lines in the water, and we'll see what bites and what doesn't, and what we need to fix for next year. A couple just little data points I want to throw out. I want to thank, one of the major beneficiaries of this event, we actually have 3 veterans nonprofits that all the proceeds of this event are going to go to. So they're local veterans nonprofits. It was important to us that this not just raise the profile of the veteran artists, but to give back to the veteran community here locally in the Hudson Valley. So we're very grateful for that. As I said, we want to be a force multiplier for a lot of different entities here. One of them is the PAC itself. The PAC, as many of you may know, is in a cell phone dead zone, and thank you to the board and Supervisor Valentine for helping facilitate the fiber optic that's going to go in there. And I'm thrilled now that the PAC is a member of the Orange County Chamber. I know that's opened up a lot of doors and a lot of possibilities that hopefully will solve this so that there can be the capability of, that we've raised the ceiling of how many people can go to the PAC and the kind of events that can happen there. Hopefully, we've also bushwhacked enough of a path here that parking won't be as much of an issue, and maybe there's a way forward that these kind of parking situations have not been debbed out. So in the future, the PAC can plus up if it needs to for a certain event. And hopefully there's a good economic boom that comes with that, especially for Sugarloaf Village itself and of course the surrounding area. We're also getting the PAC a projector so they'll be able to do movies going forward. We're also getting them cocktail tables so they can do cocktail events up in the pavilion. We're trying to do this as a value add to the facility because it's a beautiful facility and we want to make sure we support it, leave it better than we found it, and that it's able to support more and more activities going forward. My only last bits that I want to throw out here in closing, and I'm happy to answer any questions, by the way, if anybody has any. I don't know if that's the protocol and I don't want to take up anybody's time, but if there are any, I'm more than happy to do that. But I do want to thank everyone that has helped out throughout this. Some people may not even know they've helped out. Former Smith, I know your son has been a huge help, and a lot of this could not happen without him. And he is a single point of failure. Without him, a lot of this stuff goes sideways.
He will fail you.
No, I really appreciate it. It's meant a lot, and his generosity of his time and effort has meant a lot to us. Obviously, the chief, we really appreciate his help. We appreciate, Bob, your help and guidance, Alexa, and all that. It's really meant a lot to us. So, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, hopefully that's been 3,000 views.
I have a comment. First of all, Chris, I want to thank you for your service. I mean, that's I think we take it for granted, people that serve our country and protect our freedom. So I thank you for that. I'm glad to see that it's going to be a segue back to giving for veterans, because to be very frank, I don't think as a country, as a state, we do enough for our veterans. We don't. And so I'm glad to hear that that's going back to it. And, obviously anything we can do from our seats here, we'll, please don't hesitate to ask.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, I should point out, I mean, we definitely want to be that force multiplier that helps feed that effort, and we appreciate that.
Just for a point of comment, I mean, I really hope this is successful for you. I'd really like to see you come back and to extend this, that, I've been talking to Kristen about it and Walter, and, it's quite involved, but I really hope it's successful for you.
Me too. And we talked with Gary Hunsberger at the chamber a lot about,
he's a good guy.
He really wanted it to be 2 or 3 days, and we had our conversations late in the day enough that I was like, we did everything we could to try to figure out if we could extend it. And this year wasn't doable, but next year we would love that. That would be great. We'll if this isn't a complete failure, we will be happy to look at that for next year. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Moving on.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. flyer. Everybody wants to say?
We'll put it out on the
Little
board out
poster.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Accept
All
the
right.
minutes.
All right, let's get right up to the nuts and bolts of the meeting now. Okay, we need a motion to accept the minutes of 4:13.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes of meeting of 4:13.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, we have a peddler's permit request. As everybody knows, during COVID, we put like a restriction on peddler's permits that we would have to approve each and every one of them. Something we might want to think about is relaxing that rule at this point too. Right now, we'll just do an approval on this one, and then maybe next meeting we can come up and revisit that thing. So we have a peddler merchant solicitor permit application from Star Marion to, I won't tell her date of birth and all that sort of stuff. Let's see, Hudson Valley. Okay, so the company information, Hudson Valley Environmental Solutions. Nothing for sale. We're dropping off water testing on homeowner's door and then picking up the next day. Just an optional water test, no contact, no knocking. Okay, so they want a 1 month permit for $185. Do we have an okay to approve that? A motion.
I don't know. People may not want a package left at their door.
I mean,
Didn't the county just do something with water not too long ago?
Yeah.
I remember getting something at the house for testing.
Just dropping off a free
Yeah,
one just
because
at
you're
their
in
door.
Surrey Meadows, you
Right.
had to have lead test.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but does somebody want to make a motion to accept the permit or not?
I motion to accept the permit.
Okay, we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm not so sure.
Opposed?
No, I'm opposed.
Okay. Okay, motion carried. All right. Okay. Okay, we have to set a fee. We don't have a 1-day permit for a transient merchant or concession. So, you know, we have people that come to like events at the theater or just general events for 1 day, set up a hot dog stand or sell widgets or whatever it is. And we need a 1-day permit so we can make sure that they're on the up and up when they're doing business in town. So I felt that it would be a good idea to set the permit fee rather low because if it's a 1-day thing, I mean, they would have to make enough money to compensate for that alone. So, I mean, I'll throw out a number out there. I thought $25 fee for the 1-day permit.
Yeah,
Does anybody have any input on that?
Yeah, we discussed it, you know, you and I over the
Yeah.
phone and, yeah, because, you know, merchants of this nature have a tough time trying to make money. And I don't think we should just make it too, yeah, we don't want to overburden them and we want them to come back.
Brandon?
How's that compared to other towns? Do you know of any?
I didn't really
No,
look
this
into it.
is-
Most of them don't have single day permits.
Yeah.
Or
We just.
But I mean, like here, we just
changed the
we're doing
rates.
this one for a month. It's
Right.
$185, so 30 days, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of averages out, right? You guys have any input on it?
No, I think that's more than fair. I mean, coming out of, you know, today's environment, you know, 1 day for $25, it shouldn't be a problem.
All right, so could we have a motion to set the 1-day permit fee at $25?
I'll make the motion to set a 1-day merchant permit fee for $25.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Got that. Okay, I have on here short-term rental local law. We have some comments that we received. Tracy sent some comments. We had some other ones that came in and some discussions back and forth with the building inspector about some things we feel are deficient in there and that we need to address still. One of them being the zoning issue, like if we have it set up right now like as a per zone thing. And one of the questions we got was, say you have a pre-existing non-conforming residential unit in a industrial, in an industrial or commercial zone that, you know, that would be exempted out because it's in that zone. So building inspector would like to revisit it, maybe base it a different way. So we're gonna just look at that. So we're gonna table this for this evening. We're not gonna vote on it. So.
Okay.
Can I motion to table or?
No,
Is
we
it not necessary?
Just-
Yeah, I just wanted to share, you know, the discussion on it, so everybody's on the same page. Okay, so we have some police resignations. Unfortunately, we're losing a couple guys.
I'm on.
Two, okay. So, from the chief, Chief Dan Dollinger, or no, to the chief, this is a resignation. This letter is confirming I am officially resigning as sergeant with the Town of Chester Police Department. My last day of employment will be April 21st, 2022. My decision to retire was made for family and health reasons. After 22 years as a police officer, I want to spend more time with my children as they're making their way through life and take care of my parents as they age. I've spent the better part of 19 years serving the residents of Chester. I'm grateful for the opportunity that you gave me to do that. I wish you nothing but the best going forward. Sincerely, David M. Slowick. We would like to make a motion to accept Sergeant Slowick's resignation.
I'll make the motion to accept Sergeant David Slowick's resignation. Not that I want it, but
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we would like to wish Sergeant Slowick the best in his future endeavors.
He's always done a good job for us.
Yep, and, you know, we'll miss him. Okay, next on the list is,
Dear Chief.
Dear Chief Dollinger, please accept this as my formal notice of resignation of police officer of the Town of Chester Department. My resignation will be effective 3/24. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have worked alongside the men and women of the department for 4 months. My full-time full-time officers and I have worked diligently together to meet our end goal of becoming full-time with the Town of Chester PD. Unfortunately, New York Civil Service and Orange County Civil Service have denied my lateral into this department as a full-time Town of Chester police officer. Furthermore, I'll be turning 35 years of age in October 2nd, 2022, which will exclude me from being able to take the Orange County police exam. Since the fall tests have previously been given in the month of November, as it is unlikely that I will be a viable pathway to becoming a full-time police officer anywhere in Orange County, I have to make the difficult decision to resign. With Chester being 51 miles from my house, the rising fuel costs also plays a part in my decision, as it's too expensive for me to sustain my part-time position with Chester PD. While I'm saddened to leave the position, I do so to explore possible opportunities that could benefit my family, and I'd like to thank everyone from the Town of Chester PD family who helped me learn, grow, and become a better officer today. It's been a pleasure working with this department. I wish everyone the best of luck. Antonio Stenta. Okay, do we have a motion to accept Antonio Stenta's resignation?
I'll make the motion to accept Antonio Stenta's resignation.
Do we have a second?
Seconded begrudgingly.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we'd like to wish Officer Stenta the best of luck in his future endeavors. Okay, let's see. PVA contract amendment. I have forwarded, everybody's had as a copy of the MOU from the PD for the K9 that we approved. I went over it with the chief. He did have an opportunity for input on it, and it's in line with the standard procedure, and it leaves all the final decision making up to ourselves and the chief in its capacity. So would somebody like to make a motion to accept the MOU?
I'll make the motion to accept the MOU for K9.
Okay, do you have a second?
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Okay, pavers, PBA paver quotes. Oh, I'm sorry, not PBA.
No.
Sugarloaf Performing, Soul Pack. What's that? No, that one I took off the agenda that I put out on the, we're just gonna do that. We don't need to vote on it. We're gonna do it. Yeah. Okay, we have quotes for repairing the paver patios at the pavilion at the Performing Arts Center. I don't know if anybody's back. I mean, the board's all been there, but we have pavers, extensive amount of pavers around the upstairs. And a lot of them have settled in from years of roof water running on them and different things like that. And they are causing a tripping hazard and whatnot. So we need to get those repaired. We called more than three. I think we called 4 or 5 local landscaping companies to obtain estimates for the repair of the pavers. They have a really wide range of prices, of course, and some didn't even want to give us a price on it, some other contractors. So the best price we got from a reputable company locally was from Landworks New York Incorporated. The scope of work is here that they're providing for patio repairs, material, and the paver repairs that are under the overhang in the rear parking lot. That totals $23,875. So then we have another one from Kamichik Landscaping, written one that has it broken down into several different jobs. And if you add all the jobs up on that, it winds up being $27,500. Fairly close. Then we have one from another Rivera's Landscaping. And this one comes in, same basic work to be done. This one comes in at $59,000. So
Go figure that.
wide range of stuff. The $23,000 from the local company Landworks falls under the procurement policy. And I'd like to ask the board if they would like to authorize. We do have the money in the budget. We're going to use money that we had in the budget for some like an outdoor stage, some equipment that we were going to buy. We're going to use that money towards this out of the budget.
Okay.
Because we don't expect to purchase the stage that we had budgeted for. So would somebody like to make a motion to it?
I'll make the motion to accept Landworks budget cost of $23,875 for the pack.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Yeah. These are optional items. We're not doing these items. Okay. Okay, so we have this, is this just basically an announcement for this county
They're gonna
thing?
be here, so
What's that?
we're going to be
Yeah.
using that room.
So,
I mean, this was the actual,
the email.
yes, you wanted to get into the detail of it.
Okay, so the next thing we have here is the Orange County Department of Health Community Health Assessment Listening Session. Okay, so good afternoon Supervisor Valentine and Clerk Zappala. Every 3 years in accordance with New York State Health Prevention Agenda, the Orange County Health Department engages in various activities to create a community health assessment for Orange County. The overarching goal is to describe the community's needs and develop a plan to improve the health for all Orange County residents with an emphasis on addressing health disparities. To assist in obtaining necessary community input, the department will be hosting 23 regional listening sessions throughout the county over the next 2 months. To that end, we ask for your assistance in scheduling an event session at the Chester Town Hall the week of April 18th. What?
Forget the date,
The date, you got a different date, right?
correct.
Yeah.
It's a May date.
May date. Yeah, what is the May date?
18th.
May 18th. Yeah.
May
Okay, yep.
8th, 6 to 8.
Okay, so it's May 18th from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. The session would include the Village of Chester residents. Orange County Health Department also needs your assistance to help bring out residents in your community to learn more about the driving forces impacting their health. Listening sessions will be approximately 1 hour with a brief introduction and PowerPoint presentation by Health Department staff, followed by a community-led discussion. In order to facilitate the discussion, Orange County Health Department staff will assist residents in completing a 2-minute survey, either via paper or laptop. A copy of the survey as well as the promotional event flyer will be sent to you. If Wi-Fi is available, we can open the session to Zoom. Please respond ASAP to this email, call below number. Ultimately, I will follow up the day Our SOTA cooperation is greatly appreciated. Please note the information obtained in this session, as well as any other outreach activity the department is conducting with residents and other stakeholders in collaboration with our community hospitals is vital because it will help shape the county's community health improvement plan to address public health in Orange County. We can forward you a link to the CHIP, CHIP, when it's completed sometime towards the end of the year. Okay, so we have a little flyer here for it too. So do we need to make a motion to or anything, or just schedule it? Just schedule it, Linda?
It's been
Yep.
scheduled
It's scheduled. Okay, here's the flyer. It'll be hanging up in town hall here.
on the
We'll put it
website.
on the website for everybody to see. Okay, how about education?
No education.
No education. Reports. We have the Fusco report. Okay, we have a report from Fusco Engineering, biweekly report. Greens at Chester SWIP systems are working well, waiting for plans to distribute for Transportation Corporation, investigating groundwater with Highway Superintendent. Capelli Sports SWIP working well. We requested no parking signs installed by developer as per plans. Prepare estimate for generator at senior building. Working on estimate for Walton Lake Water District. Finalizing a bid for the ADA PAC CDBG grant. Bid date due June 9th, 2022. Okay. Any other reports?
Yes, you do have the highway.
Highway, yes. Okay, from the Highway Department. Highway Department's been working on the following: tree trimming, roadside cleanup, catch basin and culvert pipe repair replacements, truck repair, police vehicle maintenance. Some plows and sanders have been removed. We feel that there probably will not be any further plowable snow events. The annual tire dumpster has been requested to be delivered on April 29th. That service will be available to town residents from May 2nd through May 13th at the Highway Department during the business hours of 7 and 3, Monday through Friday. The local 284 agreement has not yet been submitted because we're waiting on price quotes. With the instability of cost of gas and oil, a true number hasn't been received. This document will be forthcoming as more information becomes available. Thank you, John Riley.
John Riley.
Okay. We also, Bob and I were discussing about the tree clippings down there, the brush pile. Some residents wanted to know if we could get a time on a weekend, like maybe a Saturday, to drop off brush, tree trimmings and stuff like that from the yards, so people aren't home on the weekdays to do that. We will talk to John Riley about that, see if we can set something up just for the public so they know that we're
Even
gonna
if
work
it's
on
just
that.
once a month or something.
Well, tree trimming is usually in the spring, so I would think if you did, but I'm just throwing a date and month of May out there every Saturday for the whole week, so this way people or commuters in the city can have an opportunity to get rid of their brush and stuff on Saturday.
Yep. Okay.
What about the painting?
Was that?
What about the painting? Is this year for?
Yeah, we don't have to.
We don't have to, we don't care.
We'll get maintenance to do that.
Oh, okay.
So we have town board comments.
Are we?
We're going into
Oh, yeah,
executive
let's
session.
do executive session with Scott. There are a couple topics to talk about in there. So somebody make a motion to go into executive session
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
I'll
Can we
second.
list what we're going into
for
executive
litigation,
session for,
attorney-client, and highway contract. Okay.
I'm gonna walk.
please? No, well, you.
All in favor?
That's
All right, how are you?
Good, how's your hand doing? Thank you.
Still working. Still back.
That's good. Me too.
No, that's okay. I'll give it to you.
Sounds good.
Are we good, Michelle?
No, Michelle?
Okay, motion to come out of executive session?
I'll make the motion, come out of executive session.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So let's move on to town board comments. We'll start down here on this end this time. Anthony, what do you have?
Sure. This thing coming up with the veterans on the 29th. I'm a veteran also. I just retired from the Navy, and we really have to support the veterans. 23 veterans actually commit suicide every day. People don't realize that. The number one drug abuse system that's going on is veterans that come back from all these wars. So please support that event.
Okay.
I guess on my turn. Just a couple of quick things. We did announce last Wednesday the Sugarloaf Film Festival. So the website for submissions, putting your films up will be on May 1st. And then there'll be other announcements as we go through it. It's going to be a 3-day event. I think it's, as I said, we're going to crawl before we walk. But I think it's going to be a great thing for the theater, for Sugarloaf, and Hudson Valley. I think little by little we will grow this. Like I said, folks that have put on film festivals in the past have need the facility to do it, and municipalities pay them to do it. Just this is a different approach. We have the facility, so there's no reason why we can't do it.
Yeah.
So, and the online piece, I think, is going to be huge because you'll be able to, anyone around the world can submit a film, and anyone, sitting home and had nothing to do, you can go on our website and watch a film.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a good thing. Like I said, we'll crawl before we walk. I know Chris left, but having that, them getting us a projector and that seating is going to be, it's going to help us with that because. There'll be cocktail parties, the opening and closing nights.
Mm-hmm.
So all those different things, and a projector is going to be a big thing for us.
Yeah, it'd be great too. It'll serve the community as well.
Yes, absolutely. And then the other thing is, Supervisor and I spent a couple hours with Senator Martucci last Wednesday. Just he asked us to come. He wanted to come down and just see the town and just have an understanding of what Chester was. He doesn't know anything about Chester, so we spent a couple hours. I know Glenn Earls, our county legislator, spent some time with us, and I think he got a good, clear
We had a
understanding
nice
of
group,
what.
the mayor from the village.
Mayor and trustees joined us, and we just talked about what the great things are in this town, and then some of our opportunities. So I thought it was a great visit, and we'll see what.
It was interesting on the bridge by the.
Yeah, we took
People were dodging the potholes.
we walked him out on the bridge so he understands what our issues are. So. So hopefully, we'll see what he's not our senator yet, but and then there was some late developments this afternoon, so we don't know, who knows what's going to happen. So, but so that's all I have.
Okay, Cindy, what do you have?
Well, I'm still looking for vendors for a few more vendors for the farm market. So that's open for anybody who has wares to sell. Also, I'm slowly working towards the ward system again. That it was voted on. I have a little bit more knowledge about it, and that's something that I think the board can handle themselves. I know Ben Ostra expressed an interest in helping us out with that. So I'll get back in touch with him. The pickleball courts still need a little bit more tweaking, but hopefully we'll be able to vote on a vendor to put the courts together. So hopefully by the next meeting. Casino night last week was a great event. It was well attended. Our staff did a great job. And we got the Villa Roma trip coming up Monday and Tuesday. There's 2 buses, bus going on Monday and a bus going on Tuesday. So that should be, eventful there too. I'm looking forward to it myself. I'm going. And I should call Walter, I guess, about the Sugarloaf sign. That was supposed to be in April.
There's a glitch with the sign.
Now it's
I'll have a report on that next meeting.
Next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. And that'll do it.
Okay. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Town events that happened this past weekend. The Kiwanis cleanup was a big success. So thank you to everybody who came out. I know we had some of us come out here.
It was well attended.
Yes, it was well attended. I'm hoping more come out for the fall cleanup. I know they usually do too, or something like that.
Like Councilwoman Smith said, the casino night was a big success. Thank you to everybody who put that on. Thank you to Walt for partnering, being my partner for valet parking. It was a great time. Besides those two things, we got the Association of Towns meeting. I actually just attended yesterday. I was the only one there from Chester, and I just wanted to give you guys a little report on that. The biggest thing that we talked about was emergency services, emergency medical services. With Mobile Life and with different towns and municipalities and how they go about it. Some in Orange County do it themselves. Others use Mobile Life. I don't know if you guys know about this, but in the paper this last week, some financial statements were released from Mobile Life, and they don't look very well. They don't look very good. And I heard horror stories from Dutchess County where whatever was equal to Mobile Life up there in Dutchess County overnight, they just said, we're done, and you guys have no services anymore. So, I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but from what I was reading in the paper, it does not look good. And, we should seriously consider a second option or a backup option, for the worst case scenario. And I'm not saying that's anywhere near going to happen, but I'm just saying it's something to consider because a lot of people at that meeting were concerned about that. And I think also our county legislator, I'm thankful that he's here. The county should be definitely looking into the whole EMS situation here in Orange County. Besides that, I brought this up very, very early on in January, and it I kind of let some time go on it. But Route 94, I had some other people talk to me about the speed limit on that road and how it's really hard for them to pull out their driveways and get mail. And I did speak to the DOT back in February, and they said all they need from us is a resolution for them to just go out there and do a quick study on the speed limit. So, and I know we wanted to maybe wait for some things to be changing on the road, but I don't know if it will hurt to just have it done early. So I just wanted to bring that up, and so everybody on the board can ruminate on that and think about it for the next couple weeks. Maybe we can talk about it.
For something like that, resolution for the road to change the speed limit. You have like
No.
a standard.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have, but I don't think there's a standard. No, we write them a letter and,
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll put that up next time if we can all talk. Yeah.
We'll be glad to put that on the agenda.
I had actually somebody that I wanted to put up, and for being a model citizen, I know that happened a couple times last month. I know the supervisor, you wanted to make maybe more of a day out of it, so I would just I wanted to ask the board maybe for the next couple of weeks we can poke around the town, and if you guys have anybody in mind to put up for being a model citizen, give them a proclamation. We can all have them come on in on the same meeting. Present the procs to them. So I just want to bring that to you guys' attention. I keep on seeing this in some old notes and some old minutes, but I think is there a position that's like marked down on the on our budget for town planner or something like that? Like, do we have like a open position?
We don't have a line item for town planner right now. It's something we could budget in the future.
Okay. I think we should consider that in the future. Just wanted to bring that up. And lastly, the playground. I know Supervisor and I spoke about fundraising options for it because the committee came to me asking how they would be able to fundraise for it, and another avenue kind of didn't pan out. So we talked about creating a reserve line.
We spoke to Sharon, our former bookkeeper at the event, and she gave us the path on which to do that. So we'll set it up with Tanya to give us the specifics on it and vote on it at the next meeting. How about that?
Sounds good. Thank you. And that is it for me.
okay, that's a wrap.
All right. That's it. What's that? Yeah, sure. Come on up, Tom. I forgot all about you, actually. I'm sorry.
He went
You were
in-
so quiet.
He usually jumps in at public
Yeah.
comment, so,
Yeah, no, I
he skipped a
actually
bit.
asked Tom to wait, and I was at calling him for it.
Oh.
Yeah, that way.
I'll be quick. I've been in contact with Tom Cusack about the upgrades to the backup well Sugarloaf, and there are concerns that there is no guarantee from a local well driller that they'll be able to remove the existing 10-inch casing. In reference to that, Fry Well Drilling is somebody that we've dealt with before. He has a dual rotary drilling rig, and he can guarantee the removal of that casing to avoid any conflicts while the job is taking place. His issue is that he has a $5,000 mobilization fee, and my plan would be to use him when he's down in this area, and we can split the cost of that mobilization with somebody else, so we can possibly reduce that down to $2,500. So we're gonna try to schedule, get pricing together from him, put some prices, put a kind of a bid out there to see if anybody else can also do the work, but most of your local well drillers don't have that type of rig to do the work. He may be the only one in New York, but there might be somebody in Pennsylvania, so we'll try to reach out and come up with something. I also completed my lab class yesterday, and I had the opportunity to speak with Steve Gagnon from the Orange County Department of Health, because I had concerns with Sugarloaf. When we get into this project, it's probably gonna take about 3 months to get back online officially, but he's given me approval to use that source once we've completed our 72-hour test. So we can use it on an emergency basis in case we have some issues with our primary well now. We only have 2 wells there, so when we're down one, we're, left with lots of nothing. We'd never be able to truck in enough water to service, 60,000 gallons a day. Still waiting for a second price for the upgrade of the lighting for our water facilities. I did reach out to Carl. He just didn't have a chance to get the price quotes together for me yet. And after speaking with the supervisor tonight, we'll try to proceed with some more things at Walt Lake Estates. So we'll price some more things out there. We kind of held up on that until we knew what we had for money. And also, we're going to move forward with upgrading some of the alarm systems at our water facilities. And that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Anybody? No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tom.
All right.
Okay.
That being said, would somebody like to motion to close the meeting?
I'll make the motion to close the meeting.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.